25-year public servant. I'm a recovering city and county manager, and so in the last phase of my public life, I've gotten into utilities, and it is wonderful. But back when I was responding to Bertha and Fran, I saw pictures that didn't quite look like this. This hurricane looks too far north to impact us. We had all these models from the National Hurricane Center, and probably it'll go north. And if you're seeing a hurricane come toward you, you don't want to be on the northeast quadrant, because with a counterclockwise circulation, that's not where you want to be. You'd rather be somewhere else. So while I wouldn't wish a hurricane on anyone, I was thinking, keep on going north. Keep on going north. Turn right. Go out to sea. But, thinking that's not what happened. So it started heading west, and we started, of course, we've been preparing. We started preparing even harder. Our county EOC issued a mandatory evacuation. We were in agreement with that, certainly. One thing as a utility, the less population stays in an area, the less you have to serve afterwards with an unknown amount of resources and infrastructure. We didn't know what would survive a Category 4 with sustained winds of 140 miles an hour, moving as slow as it was, coming toward us. So, of course, we started our planning. Upper left corner is our little command center. My leadership team and I started looking at our logistics. We had just this year had a tabletop exercise and a full-scale field exercise of response to a hurricane. So we knew what we were doing, a damage assessment. We knew what we would have to gather, but we also knew that we had limited resources. Down below, our damage assessment team leaders started meeting, trying to figure out where we're going to go. And what did they see after the hurricane when they finally got there? Now, for the team that responded from Raleigh and from Greenville and from Wilson that went to Topsail Island, this is what they saw. Topsail Island is a barrier island, 26 miles long, 13 miles, the north 13, in Onslow County, the south 13 in Pender County. We serve all of the north. Basically on Onwasa, we serve about 150,000 individuals, including everybody on Topsail Island from Surf City, part of Surf City North. So you see here, overwash, lots of sand, and then of course the street looks better, right? Well, the first thing that local government does is, for emergency access, clear the street. Where do they put the sand? Over the fire hydrants, over all of our services, everywhere. What do we have to do to restore service? Get into that. So, of course, we did. Team from Greenville, team from Wilson all helped. Of course, we also had a whole lot of help trying to uncover our vaults, our boxes. But then we had inland. Now, the wonderful thing about Florence was that it stayed with us so long. Actually, I was over at a Board of Education meeting, and one of the people at the Board of Education said, you would have a Category 1, a Category 2 storm, and on the coast we're used to that, and we would say, hey, it's going to come in, it's going to hit 12 hours, it'll be gone. Well, what do you do when you have a storm that comes in and stays with you 3-4 days? Is that really one storm, or is it like a succession of a Category 1 hit followed by a Category 1 hit followed by a Category 1 hit followed by a Category 2 hit? 4 storms in a row happening at the same time. Well, we recorded between 30 and 50 inches of rainfall when that storm came in. And that rainfall happened at the same time that counterclockwise circulation started moving southward toward New Hanover County. At one point in the storm, the counterclockwise circulation lined up perfectly with the New River Inlet. The New River Inlet then started running the wrong way. And so the water backed up effectively, creating a water dam in inland Onslow County. Now, we don't have flooding like other places. Our county is very unique. It has great topography for the most part. We're like a bowl. New River begins and ends inside Onslow County. We don't drain any inland counties. We're not like the Cape Fear or the Tar or some of those other rivers that drain 20 counties before it gets to us. But when you have a hurricane that pushed all the water in the New River inland and 30 to 50 inches of rain falling that's trying to go the other way, you end up with this, a $57 million sewer plant underwater. 2 men there had to be evacuated by swift water rescue. They got out safely. We were able to get back a couple days later after the water subsided. The Greenville team, the Greenville Warren team, stayed there about 9 days helping us. Every motor, every electronic control under 4 feet of water in this plant, fried. Yesterday morning I made a presentation to my board of directors and we passed around a circuit board. And you could see physically, this is what happens when you submerge electronics while they still got juice running to them. So it was a powerful message to the board. Beyond that, we dealt with washouts. Dozens of washouts, dozens of main breaks. I understand you had a big main break season. We had a big main break 2 weeks. Of course, after that, DOT has come through. They're backfilling. We're finding more issues. We have aerial crossings. Onwasa was created as, we're fairly unique. We're an authority, but we were a creation of multiple units of local government utilities that all came together. So we have what I call legacy systems. We've got old aerial crossings. One of my goals is to replace those with directional bores. You know, I tell you what, these things and their pylons don't stand up very well to an oak tree coming down river with the force of a flood behind it. So we have some work to do there. Road washouts. So all of that work happened. And I would like to say, first of all, I have a fantastic team. In Onslow County, you know, we pride ourselves on really honestly kind of being tough. We're the home of the United States Marine Corps, and I'll say more about that in a few minutes. But we've got fantastic team members. You had team members that stayed. I had team members that lost everything in their homes and stayed. Maybe this isn't quite by the book, but let me tell you how I feel. If a man shows up at Onwasa and he shows up just before the storm and says, you know, my family lives in Surf City on the island, and my wife and my 8-year-old son, they don't have anywhere else to go. It's just before the, you have to have me here. I need the peace of mind knowing they're going to be okay. Well, we had some shelters open after the fact. Generally, it was a mandatory evacuation. We told everyone, go. You think I turned those people away? Absolutely not. So, in addition to having one of my crew members there, my superintendent of distribution collections, his wife and his little 8-year-old son, Nate, we badged him. We put him in an Onwasa shirt. Nate became an honorary employee of Onwasa. His wife started helping prepare meals. Just did anything they could. They were safe. Matt Padgett had a clear mind. He was able to support his crews. We're a family. But all the resources of our family wasn't enough. And so when we were looking down the barrel of a Category 4, 140-mile-an-hour winds, unknown amounts of rain moving at 3 miles an hour, knowing that we have this duty to serve our public, we got through it, and then I called for help. I called for help remembering that just a year ago, we answered a call. When Florida was hit in the Keys, I sent a team to Florida along with the city of Jacksonville. It was a joint team, and we represented North Carolina, and they responded to Big Pine Key, and they got a lot of experience in the Florida Keys digging out after Hurricane Irene. Little did I know that 1 year later, in fact, on my phone, you know, that Facebook 1 year ago kind of stuff popped up. 1 year ago was my Facebook Live of us welcoming back our team members from Florida, thanking them for their service in Florida. Little did I know that I would be needing the same help. But Raleigh stepped up, and as one of my employees put it, when you came, you came. Greenville helped, and Wilson helped. And before these guys left, I was outside. What you can't see in these pictures with Raleigh, Wilson, and Greenville is behind me is all of the employees that could gather. Some were out in the field, but all the employees that could gather were behind us. And you guys remember, you were there. And this is what I told your team. And I want to tell all of you. When you came with people. And you came with equipment, and you came with materials, things that we couldn't get, as we were cut off with floodwaters on every road. I-40, Highway 53, Highway 17, Highway 258. You couldn't get to Onslow County unless you were in a big amphibious vehicle or you dropped in by plane. So you came with things, but you also came with something that you couldn't see on the yard behind our operations center. You came with relief. You came with hope. My crews had been out there working as hard as they could work, with losses at home, separated from their families for days. And they needed relief. And so you brought that with you. And the place that you came to, it is my home. It's the home, we like to call it the home of heroes, the community of heroes, the Marine Corps. And while those Marines are overseas defending our freedoms, their families are there in Onslow County. Over 45,000 active duty Marines, additional naval personnel, Coast Guard personnel. All those families are there and they needed help, and you helped us. And we thank you for that. So as you left Onslow County, and today I'm telling you, when you all came and responded to us, I want you to know that you're leaving this event, if you will, with a couple of things. You're leaving with some experience in how to respond in a coastal environment, in disaster or post-disaster situations. So you're leaving with experience. You're leaving certainly with our thanks, and that's one of the reasons, primary reason I'm here today. But I also told Jason and your crew, even Squirrel, I told them that you're also leaving with a promise, Robert. A promise from Onwasa. God forbid you ever go through the devastation that we just went through. But I will tell you this. If you do, and you call for Onwasa, if the Lord wills it, we will be here to help you at any time. And I thank you. So with that, Robert, I want to give something to you guys.
Oh, I want to thank you for saying that. It means a lot.